We are live. We are live. Queuing up the theme song as usual.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah.
It's a new experience.
Yeah, keep your ears open for this one.
Reality, spirituality.
You got a question for RL?
Reality,
spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby.
now we get real. Day freeze. A minor.
You gonna feel good now. Real good. That's what I'm talking about.
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, global happiness specialist, inner peace practitioner, speaker, author, blah, 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 all that. Who cares? But most importantly, a student, ongoing, always learning, always searching for, seeking what is the truth about this life. And today's show, it's the last show of 2025. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the show. Like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Like and subscribe. The other, what would I wanted to say? Since this is a show that is going to sum everything up. Well, sum up as much as I can remember. I wanted just to start off right, just blast off right from the gate. When I say happiness, I'm not talking about something happens and now I'm happy. When I talk about happiness, I'm talking about a personal vibration, a personal energy of contentment. Is it possible to maintain and sustain a personal vibration of contentment? That doesn't mean that you don't stop doing. That doesn't mean that you don't stop achieving. That doesn't mean that you don't stop attaining your goals. But is it possible to do all of that, to do all of this work or be work, this doing, with a with an energy of peace and contentment? And the answer is yes. But we've all been programmed to believe the opposite. We've all been programmed, quite frankly, for unhappiness. And by the way, Programmed for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth. This is on Amazon. It is the latest book, my latest book, Program for Unhappiness. And in this book, I list 56 program behaviors. And people aren't even aware that they're programmed. That's really the issue. Not even aware, believing that these thoughts and these stories in the head are true. Believing that the conclusions, the analysis, the theories are all the truth. And I'm here to tell you they're not. The programming is real. And when I said 56, I'm up to 58 now. 56 program behaviors. And if you're not aware of the programming, it is the programming that is causing the suffering, as opposed to the incident or the experience that is fallen in your lap. So my definition of happiness is the ability to maintain and sustain an energy of peace and contentment regardless of what happens and regardless of what doesn't happen. And happiness is a practice skill. Inner peace is a practice skill. Contentment is a practiced skill. And it ain't an easy practice. And what I found is robots, I mean, not the robots. I didn't say that, did I? I didn't say the R word. Well, the truth is we are all different as our fingerprints. And the other thing is we are all avocados. And some of us, it's just time. Some of us, we're just ripe. We're ripe to hear it, to accept it, to embrace the truth about this life. And what is the truth? Sorry to put pour cold water on the fire. The truth is that happiness is a practice skill. The truth is that this life is an experience. It's just an experience, but the program is to judge the experience, to judge this is good, this is bad. And I'm here this is a programmed busting practice. Lessons learned. And if you want to join, feel free to join in the chat to ask a question or to even share what you've learned. When I talk about lessons, I'm just going to share from my personal experience and how this, all of this, especially at the end of this year, what am I jumping into, and what am I going to be jumping into in 2026? And it's just more self-awareness. It's more awareness. It's more witnessing and observing. There's going to be more letting go of the stories quicker. And let me just share, if you find yourself reacting to life as opposed to responding, and reacting is just an instant trigger, or there's an instant button that is pushed. When it's instant like that, know that it is a program. You're operating off of a programmed behavior or action. And the programming is so deeply ingrained that the individual, I'm going to use myself as an example, the individual really believes that is them, that identity, the thoughts, the reactions, the behaviors is who I really am. And I'm here to say that it's more than that. And when I practice and realize, and when I practice transcending the ego, practice transcending the mind, practice getting to another level of watching and observing as opposed to I'm in it. It's just like a car accident. So if you were sitting at a bus stop and you saw a car, two cars, and they, ran into each other, you're not part of the accident. You're not part of those two cars. You're not part of that. You are observing that. You observe the car accident. And that is where I choose, when I say I am using this, because Rebecca rather just be all in it and feel the drama and have a story behind it and a reason why. No, the practice is to sit, say you're in a theater, sit in the audience and just watch the drama. You will be sometimes entertained. You will be surprised. You will be blindsided. You will be here. You will be there. But it is all a drama, all a show, all an illusion that isn't real. And sooner than later, all of us are going to wake up and say, wow, that was all a dream. All of the things that Rebecca worried about, thought about, or reacted from. I don't even like to use this word. It just hurts so much. This word hurts. Meaningless. All of this is meaningless. I know the world, humans want to put a meaning on something. A meaning, but that meaning that meaning comes from the individual's program. It's really about the programming. In fact, let me just share this. So say you have an orange. This is say you have I should have even brought it. Pretend I have an orange in my hand. Let me just use this. Hold on a second. Pretend this was an orange. This isn't a headband. This is an orange. And I'm squeezing it, squeezing. What is going to come out of this orange? Orange juice, not lemon juice, not pineapple juice, not apple juice. It's going to be orange juice. And the point of that is whatever is going on inside of you and or me, whatever's going on in here, comes out. A quick example. So I'm driving and somebody cuts me off in traffic. The road rage, and I'm point the finger, blame that person for, well, that's why I'm angry, because someone was recklessly driving, and that's really why I'm mad. No, you're angry, or I'm angry, 2 reasons. Number 1, it's time. It's just time to feel that emotion. And number 2, that was already there. The anger was already here. But the ego and the mind and the program is to attach the anger with a story. Attach the anger with a story about why I'm angry. You follow that? To attach a story. And I'm here to say at the end of 2025, it's not about what anybody says to me. It's not about family, what family says or doesn't say. It's not about what friends say or don't say. It's not about the people at the gym, what they do or don't do. I am responsible. Scratch that. I am aware of all of the emotions and all of the emotions that come up when it's time to come up. The volcano erupts when it's time. So the emotions come up when it's time. And it's my practice. It's this practice to feel the emotions, all of the emotions. I feel it. Yeah. How can you not help but feel it? But I'm not going to attach a story as to why I'm feeling. I'm not going to attach a story or use the word because. Pay attention to that word because. What follows because is always coming from, unless you're a scientist and you're conducting an experiment. But what follows that word because, number 1, is authored by the mind, the ego, all of this. Number 2, can only come up with one perspective. So what I've learned in 2025, more practicing, is knowing that, believing that, trusting that this journey, number 1, has a purpose and a reason. And what is that? It's an experience that the universe or God or source, whatever you want to call it, title it, or name it, label it, wants to experience this through this human, wants to experience all of it. And I'm telling you, especially the last few months, the embracing and trusting and letting go of wanting to scratch that, letting go of needing to know. There is a program of not being at peace with uncertainty. Certainty. Well, what's happening tomorrow? What are you doing on Christmas? What are you doing on New Year's? What tomorrow, I love you tomorrow. Tomorrow. No, it's not about tomorrow. But the mind is very uncomfortable with not knowing. Well, so are you able to be at peace with the unknown? Be at peace with not knowing. Be at peace with uncertainty. It ain't easy. This practice is not easy. So the other things, so let me just recap. What have I learned? I've learned to witness more, observe more, no power, less power to the stories, believing absolutely not one thing that the mind comes up with. And in fact, let me say this. One of my relatives texted me, and part of the text was wherever you are. In other words, it was a Merry Christmas wherever you are. Very, very bland statement. But the mind, this mind, well, why did they say wherever you are? Well, I did go out of state for Christmas for a couple of days, but just went into this and see if you relate, went into this endless loop of thought after thought after thought, and bouncing, not only bouncing from this thought to that thought, bounce, back and forth. Aw. Thank you, MD. So yeah, the bouncing back and forth, and so see the thoughts. Trust me on this one. They are not reliable. They're not to be believed. They are not to be given any power. They are not to be identified with. They are not to be, the thoughts are not to be identified with. Meaning, oh yeah, my thoughts. And in fact, the more I practice, another thought, just watching them come and go, which they always will. That's the key. There's one of the things that the world says, oh, this stress, so much stress. All the stress is right here. A person can get through whatever from point A to point B, and say maybe it's a week or maybe it's a month or however the time is. For this is a traumatic time. A person can get from that traumatic time to another time. Without this thought of, this is stressful. This is so stressful. Or this is so anxiety ridden. And I get the feelings. I promise you I understand. And there's a variety of emotions. There's a variety of feelings. However, this is one of my favorite quotes from Guy Finley. He says, I only quote there are only two quotes that are not mine. Number one, Guy Finley says, the feel is real, but the why is a lie. The feel is real, so whatever you're feeling is a real feeling, but the why is a lie. My other favorite quote is, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. But let's get back to lessons. So the other lesson, the other practice is just more observing. know that God or the universe, source, the creator, whatever you want to name it, is not experiencing what the humans experience. The universe is experiencing this life with a totally different type of, I don't know, a mindset. It's not a mindset, but it's just different. And the separation, the practicing the separation from the human, it may sound a little off, may sound a little crazy, but it is the only, scratch that. It is what I have found to be the only way to maintaining this contentment. And the other thing, I know I'm not driving. I know, I hear you have free will. I'm not driving this car. This is God's will here. What happens to me is all destined. The plan cannot be stopped, slowed down, sped up. The plan, the experience, this journey is so intricate, special, grand, incomprehensible, that at this time, at 70, I'm just here to enjoy it. So back to the other lessons. The universe, when I say the universe, there's no separation. There's no separation from this and the universe. It's all a whole unit. There's no separation. And when years ago, decades ago, when I believed that there was a separation, believed that I was separate from the universe and I'm separate from my neighbor and I'm separate from the person in another country, I'm separate. When I say I, I'm using a I. There is no separation. Conscious energy, having a human experience. Humans experience separation. And the awakening or the realization that this is all one is the ultimate state. I'm just looking at some of my notes. Okay. When you live from the level of the human ego, when you live from the level of the person, when you live from the level of the human, you will always find problems to fix. You will always find something to, this needs to be different. Don't believe your thoughts. Scratch that. Practice not believing your thoughts. Practice not believing your stories. I like to give the example of the birds, of the three birds, and the bird that is constantly doing, gathering and making a nest and making a home. And then there's the bird on the other branch that is watching this bird, this doer bird that is always moving and always doing. And then there's a third bird that is observing it all. So where there's the doer, there's the witness, and there's the higher power. So there's no hating on the bird that's doing. There's no hating on the witness. There is a state of mind that is only peace. That is only the energy of peace. That is only the energy of contentment. The other lessons is this valuing peace more and more and more, to the point where anything other than peace, than this energy of peace, it's like a hot coal in my hand. I got to get rid of it. It's a hot coal. There's less to do. There's less to analyze. There's less getting caught up in this, what do they call that? The hamster wheel of life. There's less of it. The move is, the feeling is, the vibe is, it's just the experience. It's just an experience. And the people, the humans that are caught up in the experience, believing the seriousness of the experience, are going to be less content. Believing, and listen, everything has a destiny. Everything has a beginning, meaning anything that's manifested. Beginning and end. Even the sun, even our sun is going to die out eventually. So the manifestations, the manifestations while being on this planet, being human on this planet, eventually all of them are going to be meaningless. What people thought of in hundreds of years ago was important, not important now, not important in 2025. What people thought was important in 2000 is not important in 2020, in 2025, 2026. And if you ask me, and you just did, for me, what's important is knowing the truth. Is that this whole thing is just a temporary existence. And the mind wanting to believe that it's something more than that, not anymore. What do I do? What is the purpose? The purpose is just being aware. The purpose is to contribute with my energy to peace on earth, and I do mean peace on earth. And quite frankly, is peace the ultimate goal in the first place? I'm talking about the humans. We'll go through what man will say is peaceful and is not. Is peace even an end goal? How about just the experience? And when I say peace is an end goal, I'm talking about the ultimate. There's always going to be peace underneath all of it. When I did the example of the orange, squeezing the orange, it's just like having having your temperature gauge set. And this isn't about anybody else. It's about who's in the mirror and what do you see when you're looking in the mirror. And I have to say that in all of my years, in all of my 70 years, this time is the most aware time, is the time that I've been more present than anything. And presence is peace. Awareness is peace, meaning, yep, this is happening and I trust. So the other lessons, there's just more trust, more letting go, more shifting perspectives, and also trusting that God or the universe is going to find a way or not, here we go, find a way or not to share all of this. Because what I've discovered is not everybody is interested in this topic. Too many things to do. You got life to live, a life to live. What do I need? What do I need with, I don't have time to be happy. I don't have time to vibrate contentment. No, I got things to do. That's not important. I got to stay caught up. I got to stay in here. I have too many programs to believe. I have too many programs to think about. Either you're going to jump off that train or stay on the train. And let me say this, that everybody's not supposed to jump off the train. Not everybody is supposed to be on the train. Everyone isn't chosen to be awakened at the same time, at least not right now, not in this dimension. Just looking hostile to the truth. There are some that are so programmed in their beliefs and so deeply ensconced in their beliefs that there is a hostility to the truth. If I came up with scientific evidence that proving there is still the program beliefs are so deep and so ingrained that it is impossible, mentally, emotionally, physically impossible for the person to be open enough to have a different perspective. Perspective is everything. And if you only can manage one, if you're only able to hold on to one perspective, know that you are enslaved by a program. Really needed this reflection. Aw. What do I live for? I don't have anything I live for, but one of the things that is spiritually, energetically fulfilling is someone telling me or sharing with me that I never thought about it like that. Or thanks for the reminder. Thank you for a different perspective. Thank you for another Thank you for a different perspective. Thank you for a shift. And all change happens with just the smallest shift. Not a big shift. It doesn't have to be big. A shift. One of the things that my lessons this year is to let go of what Rebecca's ego, what Rebecca's mind wants, and sit with what is happening. Because what is happening in the moment is the divine plan, is the only plan. If it's happening, it is a divine plan. But the mind doesn't want to believe that. The mind wants to believe, oh, something needs to change. No, there's more. There's going to be more cruise control. I don't know if you've ever used cruise control. It is the universe is guiding, driving, piloting, and I'm just here to enjoy the view, to experience it all without judgment. Practice staying in the present moment. I'm not jumping into tomorrow. I'm not going, oh, yesterday. All my troubles seem so far away. Yesterday is done. And so that's it. For 2026, it is about practicing in being in the moment and letting go of all the noise and not paying attention to any of the noise. In fact, one of my favorite football coach, Bill Belichick, one of the things he used to tell his team was, do not pay attention to the noise. And in professional teams, with all of the social media, the back and forth, the comparisons, there's always there's a game that's played. There's a lot of football games are going to be played today. And then on Monday, people talk about the game that's being played. So there's a lot of activity. And then the next day, there's breaking it down, analyzing it. But what most coaches, whether it's basketball, whatever team, they will always say to ignore the noise. Don't read anything on social media. Don't listen. It's the noise. And that's what I'm saying. What's going on here is a noise. Noise. Ignore the noise. Ignore or observe or witness the noise. But know that this noise which is not able to be stopped, which is fine. There's no resistance. Oh, I wish I could quiet my mind. No, if there's noise, there's supposed to be noise. But know that the noise is just that. It's just like turning on a radio, just like turning on a television. The noise is going to be on. But there's no relying on the noise. That's apparent. You can't do anything different. If you can't do anything different, you can't grow. If you can't grow, you can't change. If you can't change, stop asking other people to change. What percentage of people can change and grow? It's a very, very low percentage. And it's a shocking percentage. And is there judgment to be made on people that it's just not their time? No, there's no judgment. It's just not time. When the baby is born, it's just not time for the baby to have teeth. It's not time for the baby to walk. It's not time for the baby to talk. It's just not time. So your capacity, my capacity to witness, my capacity or my practice to just witness will inevitably bring more peace. One of my favorite teachers, and then this is the end of the show. I can't believe this. What is it? How long? 47 minutes. Nothing exists. This isn't from me. This is from one of my favorite teachers. His name is Moji. You can look him on YouTube. He's a great teacher. Moojiji. Moji. This is from Moji. He says, nothing exists in life that is a problem, unless it's the person that is saying that there is a problem. Presence, awareness, pure awareness does not reveal, oh, there's a problem. So the practice is to spend more place where I am presence, where I am identifying with presence, where I am identifying with consciousness, as opposed to identifying with the human. I know it's a little, there never has been a problem that isn't personal. And that's what the ego will do. That's what the ego will do. That's what the mind will do. That's what the thoughts will do. Well, this is personal. It's not, including this life. It's not even personal. So that's it. That's the end of 2025. Last day. We may have a New Year's Eve show. But that's the end of today's show. Thank you for listening. Lessons learned in 2025. More observing, more witnessing, more quieting the stories, not to eliminate the stories, but the stories, the volume is down low. The volume is on 1 or 2. Barely I can hear the stories. Letting go of the stories. But the world, the world isn't really ready for any of this. It's not that they're not ready. A lot of people aren't ready. It's just not time. It's time for the avocado to be ripe. It's going to ripen. Banana's going to ripen. And if it's not time, it's just not time. But it is time for the end of today's show. And thank you for listening to Reality Spirituality. Reality Spirituality is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube, live on YouTube. There's going to be I'm going to be using another platform too in 2026. I just haven't figured it out yet because I want to have a platform where people can call in and speak with me live. And I used to do that on Blog Talk Radio, but Blog Talk Radio went out of business after 10, 15 years. But I want a live show. I want people to call in. At least that's what I'm throwing out there. I've been throwing it out there for a while now, but the universe hasn't responded yet. So maybe it won't. Maybe that's not the destiny of Reality Spirituality. My website is RebeccaNorrington.com. Follow me on X at RL Norrington. LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn. My Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. And my YouTube channel, thanks to my buddy MD, is working, work in progress. But I've got a lot of shorts, a lot of new subscribers, like and subscribe, and a lot of views. Not that views, listen, when you get to a point, I understand this world and how views are important. I do understand it, but views are not important for contentment, and views are not important for inner peace, and views have nothing to do with happiness. Just letting you know. My first book, Reality Spirituality, was published in 2014, but my latest book, Program for Unhappiness, is on Amazon. Exposing the Untold Truth. In this book, I list 56 program behaviors that have been proven to subtract from your happiness. 56, that's a lot. And I also list in this book 26 behaviors that when practiced, will add to happiness. And until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who the hell you are. You are a physical extension of the universe. You are conscious energy, which is always evolving, always changing, always growing. Love is patient and love is kind. Be patient and be kind to yourself by accepting yourself, where you are, what you're doing in every single moment. It's not about yesterday. It's not about tomorrow. It's about the present moment. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality Radio with yours truly, global happiness specialist, Rebecca L. Norrington. Remember, happiness is a practice skill, and I promise you, your peace and your contentment reflects on what you practice. Have a conscious week. Let me get the theme song. One of these days, I'm going to have a real studio. I'm going to have people that are going to cue all this stuff up for me, but it ain't today. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And here we go, queuing up the theme song. It's a new experience.
Yeah, keep your ears open for this one. Got a question for it's time to get
Some answers, baby. Oh, now we can real. Josh Broden.
time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now.
2026, I have no idea what that's going to what's going to bring. I'm open to everything. I'm open to all of it. I know whatever happens is happening for a reason. Matt. Have a conscious week.